Okay guys, welcome to another in this series. I'm basically taking a look at sort of my favourite top 10s, and this week I'm looking at platform games. Now before I get things underway, one thing you need to understand is this is not the best games of this particular genre. It's the same, all these videos I'm doing, it's not the best ones. There are some better games out there. I'm looking at the games that I played back in the day. I mean, I was a very early adopter of the C64, so a lot of the games that I played and enjoyed were games that were out in the very early days. So it's not the best games that are available, because I've had a few people saying, oh, this game's much better. It's the ones that I remember, it's the ones that I played back in the day. To kick things off, it's an absolute classic game. It's Lode Runner by Broderbund Software. Now this game, I think, originated on the Apple II and probably the Atari 800. I might be wrong about the Apple II, I'm not too sure, but it's a it's an old game. I think it came out in 1983 on the C64. Now, it's the thing I love about this game is the simplicity of the game. I mean, the graphics are beautiful looking, they're very functional, but you can see exactly what you have to do. The idea of the game is to collect, I don't know what they are, these little boxes, these little red boxes with a white outline. You've got to collect them. Once you get all of the boxes, a ladder will extend off the top of the screen, and then you go up there and you go into the second level. Now you can't fire anything. What you have got is you can make a little hole, similar to is it Panic, I think it's called in the arcades. You can make a little hole and the baddies will fall into the hole. Now the hole eventually closes up after about, I don't know, 5 seconds, so depending on when the baddie falls in, he may or may not actually get totally engulfed and die, but the baddies respawn, so it's not a question of just killing the baddies and moving on. Now some of the blocks you can see there where these two wee guys are, you've actually got to make holes to then drop down and then make another hole to try and get into it. So there's quite a bit of although it's a sort of fast-paced game, there's a bit of thinking going on as well. You've got to try and figure out how to actually get all the boxes, and you can see there the wee baddies just continually pursue you. They just automatically home in on you, so you've always got to try and outrun them and figure out how to do it. Now, a wonderful thing about this game, oops, I've just killed myself. A wonderful thing about this game was it also came with a built-in construction kit, so it's fantastic. So that is Lode Runner, an absolutely beautiful game. This one here is Dino Eggs, published in 1983. Now this is a game that probably not many people remember or are even aware of, which is a big shame, because it is an absolute beauty. It's a beautiful game. I played this a lot back in the day. Now, for a 1983 game, it's an astonishing looking game. The graphics are lovely. It's so playable. The idea of the game is you have basically got to try and collect the Dino Eggs. Now the Dino Eggs are these white little things you'll see there. Now to pick up an egg, you pull down and press the fire button. You can see there I've now got 2 eggs. I think you can collect 10 eggs, and then if you go to the little sort of beam thing which I'm running towards there just now, that one, if you pull down and press the fire button, you basically bag the eggs and get points. Now you have all manner of little baddies. There's spiders which kind of will fall down towards you. You get little snakes, and you've also got that's the big Dino Mom foot trying to stamp on you. To stop her doing that, you've got, if you can pick up 2 pieces of wood, if you pick up 1 piece of wood and then deposit on the top of another piece of wood, you start a fire, and you'll see there the fire, it's got a timer on it, so that will basically show you how long the fire's got to go. As long as there's a fire burning, the Dino Mom will not come down. Now the other thing which you can do there, these are little rocks. If you pull down and press the fire button, you can basically drop the rocks. I think you can drop the rocks on top of baddies, but underneath some of them, like that one, there's a little Dino Egg which I can pick up. So let's have a look under here. There we go, that's another egg. We shall go along here. But you know, it's a fantastic game. It really is. The graphics are really pretty. The colours excellent. For a 1983 game, this is up there. It's got to be one of the best C64 games in my opinion. It really is. Now the little spiders you can see there, they come down in the web. If you jump through the web like so, the little spider falls to his death. So let's zoom out. Now once you've collected all the eggs, I think if you go into the little beam, you can then exit the level. Now I'm not quite sure why I've not exited the level. If you walk from left to right, it'll just wrap round. I'll demonstrate here. Yeah, so if you walk off one side of the screen, you come back on. But this is a brilliant... bugger! You don't jump into the fire like I've just done. But yeah, Dino Eggs, go and check it out. It's a game probably a lot of people have never heard of, and it's a beautiful game. Next up is Blagger. This was programmed by Anthony Crowther and published by Alligator Software. Now this was kind of, I suppose, you can see here the heavily influenced, it's been heavily influenced by Manic Miner, which I think came out before it. I mean, even the little sort of travelators and the sort of plants look very Manic Miner-esque. Now I would probably have featured Manic Miner in this list, but I didn't, because I always think that Manic Miner, it's a Spectrum game. It'll always be a Spectrum game in my, as far as I'm concerned, so I left it out. But this game's great. I mean, it's rock hard. It is seriously difficult to play, but it epitomises what a good platformer of the 80s was all about. Basically trying to figure out where you need to go. Excuse me, got the hiccups. You have to figure out, you have to look at the level, figure out where you need to go, and basically just through practice you'll eventually get there. But I say it's a fiendishly difficult game. Oh, I might still do it, you never know. But I love the graphics. Now for the last 30 years I've been playing this game, I've always thought that you play the part of a snowman. It looks like a big snowman with his big arm, and it was only when I did an 8-bit kerfuffle a few weeks ago I realised that it's actually a guy carrying a swag bag. Now you'd have thought that the bank safe, it would have the penny would have dropped, but I had never actually seen that before. But yeah, and again it's very similar to Manic Miner. It's got all the sort of weird and wacky baddies and sprites and whatnot. And it's got the melting platforms as well, so just need to try and figure out how I'm going to do this. I don't think, for all the time I actually played it, I don't think I got very far. I may have got to, I don't know, level 3, level 4, if that. But I always enjoyed it. I just thought it was an excellent game. The graphics are original, nice and clear. There was a sequel to this, Son of Blagger, which was a kind of horror. It was a scrolling platform game, probably slightly better looking graphics, but I always liked this one. Always thought that was great. So that is Blagger, I say, and that is by Alligator Software. Right, this cheery little game. This is Trolley Wally. This was published by Interceptor Software, and you can see 1984. Now Interceptor Software, they were a very early software house. A lot of the games were, I would say, were subpar. They weren't the greatest. But some of the games they put out were really good, and this was one of them. I mean, what I like about it, I like the fact that it's basically one big massive scrolling level. You have the idea of the game. I don't quite know if you're in a factory or something, I'm really not too sure, but the idea of the game is to basically collect all the different things, items. I mean, there's a 10-pence piece, there's a helicopter you can see there. Now what I liked about it was the fact that you could see bits of the screen but you didn't quite know how to get to it, and it was just through trial and error to try and figure out how you were going to get to something. So I'm going to try and get this joystick without dying. which I've just not done, or I've just done actually, I've just died. Now another big selling point for me with this game was the music. It used, like a lot of early 8-bit games, the music was classical because there was no copyright to pay, because classical music, the patent had long gone. But some of the tunes, I think, is that tune a Jean-Michel Jarre? I think it may well be actually. And I thought the music in this game was absolutely excellent. But like Blagger, it's a savagely difficult game. Yeah, why can't I pick up that? It's like a match or something, a burning match? I'm not quite sure. Ah, bugger, I'm going to get killed with a flying turkey. I don't know what that is. But yeah, it's as I say, a lot of the not Mastertronic, a lot of Interceptor software games weren't very good. I'll leave it at that. But I always enjoyed this one. It looked slightly ragged around the edges, but it was good fun to play and it had great music, and that's why I enjoyed it so much. So that's Trolley Wally. Right, this next one, I would be surprised, or I would not be surprised if a lot of people watching this video have never even heard of this game. Now what's interesting, I've just noticed there, it was published by Laura Ciel, who were quite a big French publisher of 16-bit games on Atari ST, Commodore Amiga. Now I remember, I don't even know if this game was ever released in the UK, I got a copy of it from somewhere, I'm sure I got it on a disc actually. And as well as being a really nice game, what was well liked about it was basically the different ways you could actually die. It was quite creative. Like that, you get electrocuted. It's funny, I mean, for, you know, looking at it now, it's very tame. Yep, just exploded in a big ball of pus. It looks tame as anything nowadays, but back in 1984, whenever it was, you know, this was, there you are, getting boiled alive. This was quite, wow, you know, we thought this was amazing. And it is actually, to be fair, it is actually quite a good little game. I'm actually surprised to see the company Laura Ciel. I didn't realise they made games as far back as sort of the early 80s. In some ways, the thing that drew you to play this game was just to basically find it, just, you know, how many ways could you actually die. It was quite entertaining. But it does actually play pretty well. So, I want to go up, I think. No, I want to go along here. Mind the little landmines and the laser. Right, try and get across there. Run or jump. Ah, bollocks! And it's curtains, I think. To get clubbed to death with some kind of caveman things. That's Infernal Runner. That was a great little game. Right, this one really should not need any introduction, but I'm going to introduce it anyway. This is the Mighty Bruce Lee. This was one of the very first computer games I ever got to see. It was in the Atari shop, Ray's computer shop in the Mall, and it was probably about 1982, I think it was, and I saw this running on an Atari 800, and I just thought it looked incredible. I mean, the 80s was a time for ninjas. Bruce Lee was every young boy's hero. You know, there was Enter the Dragon, and is it Way of the Dragon? I think it was Enter the Dragon. I can't remember. Way of the Dragon. Yeah. We all wanted to be Bruce Lee, and along came this computer game which allowed us to be just that. And what made it quite original for the time was it actually allowed you to actually fight opponents, punch and kick. Whereas most kind of computer games, it was all guns. But being able to fight your adversaries like this was just great. You've got your little ninja, a little black character, he's a ninja, he'll pursue you relentlessly and try and stab you with his sword. Then you've got, is it Yamo, the big green samurai. I don't quite know why he was green. I've no idea. Doesn't make any sense, but he was green. He was even green, I'm sure, on the cover. I actually had this in disc. Here he comes along. He's got his little ponytail thing. Looks like Mr. T from behind, actually. Now, one thing I liked about Bruce Lee, it was quite an easy game to play. I mean, I have completed it several times, and I've not completed many games in my time, but I did complete this, so I think that was a bit of an appeal of the game, as well as the fact I could actually complete it. But it's great, you're running about this kind of underground, well, I'm not underground at the moment, you're running about this kind of fortress, and you've also got to get to the end and destroy the evil thing. I can't remember what it was, some kind of big evil guardian. So that's me now going into the sort of catacombs of his lair. Collect the little lanterns, and the more lanterns you collect, it kind of unlocks doors and you'll see things open up. So there was all that really kind of drew you into the game. And what was really nice about it as well, you could actually play it 2-player, with the second player playing the part of Yamo. Oh, don't go in the laser or I'm going to die. Oh, green man's dead. Yep, he's dead. Jump over there. He's got to time it right. But it's a cracking game, it really is. If a little easy, but to somebody like myself, it was just absolutely perfect. But if you've never played Bruce Lee, you need to go and check it out. Right, this one, Bounty Bob Strikes Back. This was a sequel to Miner 2049er. Now this is Miner 2049er is generally regarded as the game that inspired Matthew Smith to write Man 8 Miner, and you can see why. Very similar. Now this game, aesthetically wise, this game is about the most basic as you could ever get. Blocky graphics, I mean, just look at the graphics, they're as blocky as anything, it's like Lego. But this game had playability by the bucket load. Now one nice little feature, or one little sort of game mechanic of the game, is the ability to jump. You could vary how far you jumped. Excuse me. Before I go on, the game also had the best ever high score feature ever. You basically move up and down, pick the letter you want, and press a button, and the little bulldozer pushes the letters down below. And go down to end, and then you'll see what happens here. The little pigeons pick up the letters of your name and the score, and they stick the score up. Absolutely beautiful before they settle on the top of the scoreboard. Yeah, it's an absolutely wonderful game. Now, there's various items dotted along the level, which when you pick up, it changes the baddies. They turn sort of green for about 10 seconds, and as long as they're looking at you like that with wee smelly faces, you can kill them. As soon as they start to flash and then they turn back to side on, then if you touch them, you die. Now, to complete a level, you've got to basically cover every single little bit of platform. You see there as I walk across the platform, it fills in. So once all the platforms filled in, you move on to the next level. But there's some lovely game mechanics in this. There's little hoists, there's little suction tubes, you name it. It's just a wonderful game. This game epitomises playability over graphics. It's just a wonderful game. I mean, the first one, Miner 2049er, probably deserved a place in this as well, but I always preferred the second one more. It's had a few more features. Balls. So you'll see there when the wee baddies are looking side on, then that's when you can't kill them. And let's just have one more go at put my name into this. This is wonderful, it really is. Probably spent more memory actually making the high score feature bit, you know, than fancy graphics, but it didn't matter. When a game plays this well, you really don't look at the way the birds are even moving the scores down. Just absolute genius, it really is. It completely rearranges everything. So there we go. So that is Bounty Bob Strikes Back. Again, it's released on the Spectrum and Amstrad. If you've never played it, go and check it out. Right, this is a very early game again, 1983. This is Jumpman Jr. Now there was an original Jumpman which played very similar to this one, but I featured this one because I think this was the one I did play more. It was made by Epix, and again, graphics are absolutely nothing to write home about. In fact, if anything, this graphically wise, this looks like it was written in BASIC. Now, if you think it's playing very slow, it's because you can actually pick what speed you want the game to play at. When I first tried to record this game, I had it picked at 1, which I thought would be the slowest, and it was actually playing way too quick. So this is speed 5, I think it is. I could probably have played it at maybe speed 2, something like that. It's speed 3, but again, it's not about the graphics, it's about the playability. You've got to pick up these, I don't even know what they are, these little brown things. I mean, the game looks like it was a type-in game, but I says it was just, this was when games are all about playability, nothing to do with graphics. The graphics are absolutely functional, and it's a wonderful game. So you can go up and down ropes, and when you pick up some of these things, bits of platforms disappear, so you need to be very, very careful. So I should be able to jump over here now. I think when I pick that up it might disappear. There you go, you can see the little bit disappeared. Can I jump here? Maybe not, I'll go down the ladder. But again, it's simple graphics, but you know what, it doesn't matter, because the game itself is fantastic. I know any teenager would look at this and just think it is absolutely god awful, but you know, it's a shame because they're missing out on a wonderful game, and that's why I am so privileged and feel blessed that I actually lived through the early days of computers, because I get to appreciate all games, whereas kids nowadays, they're only interested in playing PlayStation 4 games. They wouldn't even think twice at looking at a game like this. So there you go, that is level 1 in the bag. Let's have a quick wee look at level 2. Fire, fire, pants on fire. Yeah, it sounds basic. Whoa! That tune to signify death was used in the majority of games in the early 80s. Boot Hill, I'm sure Boot Hill used it as well. So don't touch the fire or you die. But anyway, listen, that is Jumpman Jr. published by Epix in 1982, I think it was. Again, I think it came out in Atari and possibly the Apple. What can I say about this game? I mean, we've just taken a look at the most basic looking platform game, and then fast forward, well, in fact, you know, maybe only a couple of years, and you've got a game that looks and sounds as awesome as Impossible Mission. I did play this quite a lot, but I was always pretty pants at it. I just found it too difficult and never ever did complete it. The idea being is you're in this, basically, is it the Professor Atom Bomb or something like that, Atom Bender, something like that he's called. That was him talking at the very start. You're basically inside his lair and you're trying to infiltrate it, and you've got to collect pieces of a puzzle, and then when you put them all together it allows you to basically kill him. I mean, what made this game so good, apart from being a bloody good game with originality and graphics, the animation of the main character is just jaw-dropping. It really, really is. And the biggest thing was the speech. The speech was just incredible. I mean, even now when you listen to that bit of voice synthesis, it's astonishing. It's an English guy talking. How Epix managed to do that on a Commodore 64, I have got absolutely no idea. But the presentation, the sound, it's just incredible. It really, really is. And there's all different types of robots. Some robots will just move left to right, other ones will move left to right and fire, other ones, when they see you, they'll come zooming towards you. Some of them will move quickly one direction, and like that one there, he moves quite slow to the right, but when he goes from right to left he goes a lot quicker. And again, it's kind of puzzly as well, because you've got to try and figure out the ramps, what ramp you're going to use to search something. By the way, you just hold it forwards and you get the wee kind of sort of progress bar. When that eventually disappears, the thing removes and you can see if you've got a piece of the puzzle. You've got little computers here where you can log in, you can reset the elevators, you can also like disable robots for a short space of time. So it's quite a deep game. There's quite a bit of thinking going on as well. It's not just all about jumping from platform to platform. And you can see there's a little map at the bottom which is basically plotting your progress. But the sound as well is just incredible. Even the sound effects, I'm walking along the sort of metallic, and nothing there. So the robots can't move past a lift, and I've got a piece there. So anyway, that is Impossible Mission. Wonderful game. Getting carried away there. And the last one, I could not exclude this game. This is the mighty Monty on the Run. The first thing that's going to hit you about this game, and it's the same when I first played it, is just the quite simply sublime track by Rob Hubbard. I mean, this is my favourite Commodore 64 SID tune over everything. It's an absolute stunning piece of music. I don't know how many times I've listened to this, and every time I listen to it, it literally does blow my mind. I've heard it getting played with like a live band as well as it press play and tape, and like Ben Dalglish and is it Mark Knight, I think it is. They've played this. It's an astonishing piece of music. But anyway, listen, enough about the music. The music was just an extra lovely thing, and that's what attracted me to this game. But it's actually a really, really good platform game in itself. I'm not quite sure of the idea of the game. You've got to, I think, escape. You know, you've got various little things you've got to pick up, but it's just it's an absolute banquet of beautiful bits of gameplay, different baddies, sprites, ropes to climb, big giant kind of stompy things that will crush you, I don't know what you'd call them. It's a lovely game. It's a really nice game. I mean, most people think about this, think of the Monty game as being a Spectrum game, and it's, you know, it was obviously in the Spectrum and Amstrad, but to my mind the best version has got to be in the Commodore 64, because listen to that music, you know. If you were to strip out the music, would I have played it? Possibly not, and not because it's not a good game, it's probably, it just wouldn't have caught my attention back in the day. But the music itself pulled me in and made me want to play the game, and then it's through that I realised the actual game itself is really good. There's lots of nice little in-jokes. I mean, you'll see here, oh, in fact I missed it, there's like the Sinclair C5 at one point. Just the originality of the graphics is just absolutely awesome. But you know what? When I was recording this little bit of game, I was just tempted to keep playing it and playing it and playing it, because that music, you don't want to not listen to music. Just an astonishing bit of shows you what people could do with the SID chip. But anyway, listen, that is my 10 favourite platform games. Like I said, it is not the best platform games on the Commodore 64. I know there's some way better games out there. It is just my favourite platform games that I played back in the day. I will be doing another video probably on sports games, arcade conversions as well, I think. So anyway, as usual guys, I hope you enjoyed watching it. Please feel free to like, comment and subscribe, and finally, thank you very much for watching.